All right. Okay, everybody, welcome to tonight's United Goalkeeping Alliance Residential Camp Overview. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Eric Eisenhut, proud board member of the United Goalkeeping Alliance. This will be our 4th year running our residential camp, and each year, I must admit, it gets better and better, and it's due to feedback. It's due to the kids creating the GK union in the feel. And it is, I believe, a very good developmental camp as opposed to a recreational camp. So I just wanted to make sure that's clear. That said, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to speak to, can you let that person in, please? Thank you. We're going to speak to the basic information on the camp. I have some numbers to share with you. I will share the camp agenda. I'll introduce all of our coaches that are committed, verbally committed till this point, and then I'll speak to next steps, and then I'll leave it open for questions. So here's the basic information regarding the camp. You see the location and the dates up top. We're going to have 11 field sessions between Sunday through Thursday. Essentially, we'll have 2 field sessions on Sunday, either 2 or 1. I forget the exact number. We're going to look at the agenda in a moment. And then it's going to be 3 a day up until Thursday, and then we'll have 2 there. And Thursday is mainly a competitive game day where all the kids are kind of showcasing their stuff in front of parents. And I'll speak to your involvement in that in a moment. We have 5 educational sessions. We've added one this year based on feedback from last year. And the feedback revolved around diet and proper nutrition and educating kids what's the right thing to eat during a camp such as this. And we had a couple kids cramp up pretty bad last year, and it was based on just intake. There was soda that they're taking in at the cafeteria, and they weren't hydrating. So we will speak to that on day 1, and we will follow that for sure during the camp. We have 8 stretching and mobility sessions. Essentially, we're going to have 1 every morning and 1 every night. We want to teach these kids how to properly take care of their body. So when they wake up in the morning, if they're feeling stiff, if they're feeling tight, how do we stretch? How do we move to get back to quote unquote normal? And same thing with the end of the day. How do we handle our body? How do we take care of our bodies after a long day so we won't wake up feeling sore? We've increased the number of coaches from last year to this year from 10 to 13, and I'll introduce you to all the coaches in a moment. We have the same 2 trainers as last year. So we're very happy to have Leanne back and Dawn, or Bob, excuse me. I think I said Dawn by accident. I meant Bob. We have Bob will be with the boys and Leanne will be with the girls. We have 4 chaperones. If anyone is interested in chaperoning, please just let me know. You can reach out to me tomorrow or in the future. The chaperones were very helpful last year in regards to organization, issues that happened off the field. And there weren't any in particular that stood out, but it's just the little things. And I think the more parents we have involved, the smoother this seems to go. We have 68 goalkeepers as of right now registered for the camp. That is the exact number of goalkeepers we had at last year's camp. So right now we are at capacity compared to last year's camp. And an announcement you saw in the email today, in working with Kiski School, they've offered us another dorm where we can have another 20 plus goalkeepers if we choose to. So I'm going to open that up just so you know. You'll see some marketing on that over the next couple of days and into next week. So if you have anyone who you'd like to refer to this camp, or if you're listening today for the first time learning about the camp, you are welcome to join. We have additional spots. We're excited for that. Hasn't been made public yet. I'd like to keep it amongst our core and our basically I want to treat our clients well. If you've come here in the past, I want to reward you for that. So you're going to get the first crack to come back. And same thing with your referrals. So please feel free and open to refer anyone to me or to the camp specifically. Based on current numbers, right now we have a 5-to-1 GK to coach ratio. last year, I think our GK to coach ratio is around 8-1. So we're really looking good in that regard. Adult to coach. That should say adult to goalkeeper. My apologies on that typo. But it's a 3.5-1, or round up 4-1 adult to goalkeeper ratio. My own two sons go to this camp. I am very confident in the safety of this location. There's one road in, one road out, and it's small. And what I mean by that is the distance from the dorms to the library where the educational sessions are, to the two fields, to the cafeteria. At the most, we're talking maybe a quarter of a mile, less, probably less than that, truthfully. It's a couple-minute walk tops. I really appreciate this location. As you're driving there, you'll all say to yourself, where am I going? This is in the middle of nowhere. And that's a good thing. There's nowhere for anyone to go or anyone from the outside to come in. So we have a very, very safe location. Two fields, three dorms. The three dorms is up from two from last year. One dining hall. And down the bottom, most importantly, you're going to see the number of socials. We have two socials because we do want kids being kids after all. Last year, this actually turned into like a dance. It's just an impromptu. Kids had some music going and they had a ball. So we want to encourage that. As a matter of fact, I'm working on a quote unquote concert between one of our coaches and one of our goalkeepers who will be coming back. And I'm not going to get into who and the particulars on that, but I have been paying attention to some people online, and I know they play some music, and I know they play the music that Coach Don appreciates, meaning Led Zeppelin and other stuff. I see on there, Coach Don. Here are our coaches. I'm not going to read all of them, but we have grown in this capacity. Based on feedback, we bumped up the number of coaches we have. We also bumped up the number of college goalkeepers participating. We got really good feedback with the college goalkeepers that were a part of our coaching staff last year, and I will specifically talk to them. We had Jarrett Scarlett, who I believe is on the call tonight as well, Maddox Anderson, and we had another boy, Jarrett Lucas, who will not be unfortunately with us this summer, but we did add a few others. We added some female college goalkeepers because I know that was definitely something that was suggested and recommended. So we have Ginny Frank from George Mason, a Division I goalkeeper, and we have Maxine Crosby from Edinburgh, and she has been an attendee for the last couple of years. I'm sure if you're returning, you all know who Maxine is. And we're also looking to add potentially one more. I'm speaking to a goalkeeper right now about that last opportunity. And on the bottom, you see there are two trainers, Bob and Leanne. Great staff. I not only are pretty much even the college goalkeepers, not only are they great coaches, they're great people. And you have a lot of, you should be excited for these kids that are going to be in front of you, for the coaches that are going to be in front of your kids, excuse me. Very excited for this coaching staff this summer. Here's a draft, and I will phrase the word draft in regarding our agenda for next year. Again, I mentioned on day one, you see the classroom session from 4 to 5. You're going to see everything in orange is a classroom session on a topic of a goalkeeping topic. They're very similar to the UGKA educational sessions that we conduct weekly. And we want essentially kids to learn about the topic first and then go to the field and apply. And if they can get the understanding as to what it is we're going to be training and what it is we're going to be doing, when they get onto the field, the kids crush it. Like they have a good idea as to what they're looking for, what our expectations are, and it really allows for a smooth training session. We've upped every session from, I think it was an hour, 60 to 75 minutes, up till 90 minutes. So each session is going to be in 90 minutes. The first 15 is a demonstration of what the session looks like. And the last 75 are the training minutes for the goalkeepers. So essentially, you're going to be having 11 goalkeeper training sessions of 75 minutes each. In green, you see our socials. The first night we have one, which is just a casual gathering. And our social area is fantastic. TVs, if there's a game that happens to be on, we've put games on in the past. There are pool tables, ping pong tables, foosball table, an air hockey table. And kids are just kids. And it's awesome to see them just socialize, get to know each other on day one. Because on Tuesday, when they come back for their second social, we have a Hawaiian theme where kids are dressing up and just, again, having fun, like just not thinking about soccer, more or less becoming that GK union, becoming friendly, and just, again, being a kid. We have a jersey swap too. It might not take place during the actual social of the number two. We might put it in a different time frame throughout the week. But essentially, what we do is we ask kids to bring in their old jerseys. So a game jersey that you might not be wearing anymore because it's an old one, but it still fits you. Can we take those shirts, bring them to camp, and then can we just trade? And by trading shirts, it's kind of cool. Like my kids went home I think a year or two ago with like a Tampa Bay goalkeeper jersey. I think it was a Tampa Bay Rowdies goalkeeper jersey. I know kids that left with Pittsburgh Riverhounds jerseys. And it's just a cool way of just, bringing something home that might be kind of cool to you that was old news to someone else, right? So we're kind of, recycling, let's call it, these goalkeeper jerseys or just game jerseys. But it is pretty neat to see these kids wear them and put them on the next day. And typically that's what happens. The last day, you're going to notice it's mostly competitions. We offer and we want or welcome parents to that day instead of coming at the end and just picking your kids up. If you want to come during the day and you want to hang out and watch all the competitions, we have music going. We have merchandise there. But for the most part, these kids are there competing and it's a fun day. I truly mean that. So if parents can get down there for that day, please take the time to do that. It's a really cool setting. It's a lot of fun. We also encourage parents to stick around on day one, too, at one as well, excuse me. So the thing is, you're going to see that probably that one session at 1:45 to 3:15. And then afterwards, we're not back on the field until 6:15. So you probably might leave after that, but you can stick around for as long as you want. The only thing we can't do is we cannot supply food from the cafeteria to parents or brothers or sisters. So if you do come and you do stay, just plan for food to be supplied by yourself, please. We also have 2 aerobic sessions. You'll notice that during the day, we try to stay off the field. You'll notice there are none of those pale sessions, the pale sessions or the field sessions. But we only have one during the day and also on the last one day on Thursday. Reason being, it's end of July. It's hot. We have a turf field and a grass field. And again, it can get very hot. So in the middle of the day, we like to keep them in the air conditioning classrooms, or we like to have them in the pool. Pool aerobics is just basically getting them moving in a pool. It's a structured movement where it's almost like a speed and strength session, but in water. We goof around with it. These kids are having fun. And then truthfully, it turns into a belly flop contest by the end because they have a really cool diving board that puts up a lot of spring. So kids have a lot of fun with that. And it also, again, another moment for kids to be kids. Next steps. First and foremost, please complete your registration if you have not. All that consists of is a front and back copy of your medical card, your child's medical or insurance card. Most have not done that yet. It's like the one thing I think a lot of parents are missing. If you could just take a photocopy or front and back of your child's medical card and email it to me, I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. And then the other thing is the payments. The link, I'll send those out again tomorrow with this recording, in addition to the waiver and then the child's medical history sheet, which is pretty straightforward. Again, if you've attended this camp in the past, it's pretty painless, these forms, and that's it. Literally, those are the only couple things we need. Then it comes down to who do you want your roommate to be? And I want you to work amongst yourselves to figure that out. If you don't know of anyone attending, and I try to supply a list of who is attending so you can see who your child knows and they can, if you need help reaching out to somebody, supplying information, I can absolutely help you with that. You will also be given, from a United Goalkeeping Alliance perspective, a pair of shorts and shirts. Last year, each kid got a long sleeve shirt, a short sleeve shirt, and a pair of shorts. Last year, the youth shorts were incredibly long. So I do understand that, and my apologies for that. We're going to be sizing appropriately, and it was just the youth shorts that we had the issue with. The adult shorts and the jerseys all fit just fine. What to bring? if anyone seriously wants to start learning or thinking about this right now, I absolutely can and will supply a list. But I also let you know we will supply an email probably at the beginning of June, giving you about 2 months to kind of get what you need, so to speak, for the camp. So you'll see another communication from me in where are we in April, about a month and a half, 2 months, ballpark figure, to start like thinking about the actual what to bring to camp. Out of state participants, I'd suggest if you are coming from out of state, don't feel you have to come in early on Sunday morning and really stress about that. We do have the opportunity to stay there on Saturday night. The only thing we do not supply is food. So what we've worked with out of state participants is they've flown in on Saturday late afternoon into the night. We've had essentially either a parent or a coach volunteer to kind of help us out and pick people up at the airport and bring them to camp. And we'll spend the night there, and then they can check in that night. And then Sunday morning, they're as good as fine, to be honest with you, when it comes to a check-in process. So again, if anyone's coming from out of state, we can and will do anything we can to accommodate you the day before camp. All dorms have a washer and dryer. They are not coin related. They are basically free. You can use those. Just please make sure your children bring laundry detergent. It's the one thing that they don't supply. They also supply a common room refrigerator. It's it's your typical household refrigerator that everyone has in their kitchen. It can get crowded quickly. So what we tell kids to do is keep all your drinks in your room, but the one you want them cooled up. When you want them cold, just put them in the refrigerator, but also put your name on them. People have brought college refrigerators to their dorm rooms in the past, and it's worked out great. If you have one and you'd like to bring one, you are more than welcome to. Food delivery at night, kids typically they're hungry. I mean, these kids eat. You know, they're working, and I get it. So at night we have two local restaurants that deliver food to us. I make a call like a week or two before to let them know that we're probably gonna have some big orders coming to them at night, and they've been very accommodating. So if the only time that kids would need money is kind of my point, that would be it. Truthfully, there's no reason for kids really to have money on them, but excuse me, except for if they're looking to order food at night. On Thursday, at the end of the week, we have an awards ceremony. Awards last year have gone to the MVP of the older and younger. We've also given awards to the Goalkeeper Wars champion for the older and younger. We've also given out leadership awards and overall camper of the week. And this is pretty neat when these are voted on by the coaches. So all the coaches get together and we decide on all of these, with the exception of the goalkeeping award tournament awards for the winners there. They're obviously determined by winning those tournaments. But the coaches get together, and last year we literally sat at the table and we spoke for about a good 45 minutes about some of, like, should it be this person? Should it be like, we went through a lot of people, and we do our due diligence, and it's rewarding. It's cool to see these kids win their awards and they earn them. And it's really I think, a great accomplishment for them. You see a lot of good smiles. Lastly is check in on Sunday is between 10 and 11:30. Coaches, we check in either the night before or before 9. We'll get checked in and we'll have all of our stuff on and be able to have everyone ready to go. Check-in's pretty painless. You pretty much come to all this information, by the way, will be sent in the second email and discussed. We'll have another one of these Zoom calls as we get closer to the camp as well, by the way. So we'll review this again, but just plan on check-in at this point for between 10 and 11:30 on July 21st. That's Sunday. Now I'd just like to open it up for questions. Before I do that, actually, are there any coaches on here that would like to say something or address something I may have missed or put emphasis on anything? Everyone's good. I see thumbs up, so no issues. Okay. This is my contact information. I'm going to go back to questions in a moment. Here's my information, my cell, my email. I'm confident most of you have this, but if you don't, please write it down. Email me, call me, text me with any question you might have. Like, I can't stress that enough. Um, I personally take great pride in this offering. I think this camp has become one of my favorite weeks of the year, to be truthful. I'm hearing that same holds true for some of the campers, and now I'm starting to hear from some of the coaches too. It's kind of nice. But it's a great learning experience, and I mean that from a coaching standpoint as well. I learn every time, every camp I learn something. And it's because of the coaches I'm working with. It's because of the coaches that your kids are working with. And believe it or not, your kids throw some wisdom at us every once in a while too, believe it or not. So it's a very developmental camp. I mentioned that before. It's definitely not a recreational camp. This is definitely a goalkeeping development camp for sure. All right, without further ado, let's turn over to questions. So, Kate, you have a question. Kate Bernard, and you're on
Hi,
mute.
this is Melissa. This is her mother.
Hi.
I have a couple of questions. For the goalkeeping training sessions, are for the age appropriate bracket, are they mixed? Are they girls, boys, or just girls?
So we've in the past, I personally don't care about sex, boys or girls. I
Mhm.
care about skill. And I
Mhm.
truthfully mean that. Now, that said, we've had a lot, our numbers last year have allowed us to keep them separate, boys and girls. So we've had like a U11 boys and girls group. We had a U13 boys and girls group, all the way up through like the early phases of college. So numbers will dictate that. But at the same time, we have divided them up, boys and girls. At the same time, if there are people who want to go and move up to that next group or don't mind blending, we will blend. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever.
Okay. And then my second question was about the cafeteria and the food.
Yes.
Like what kind of options or how does it work? And is the food good? And
Yep. So two points on the food. There's a salad bar. And there's a one option for or two, I think one or two options for each, if for each meal, excuse me. The food is okay. Like, if there was one thing I'd probably tell you about, like, if like what would get the lowest rating is probably be the food. And it's not because it's bad. I'd like to believe it's because everything else is good, the accommodations, etc. But it's bland. It's cafeteria food. I mean, that's pretty much what you're getting here. Now, that said, if anyone has food allergies or specific demands based on their diet, we absolutely can and will accommodate those. We just have to know, so we can then speak to the cafeteria and the person responsible for that, and they will take care of everything. It's a pain. That's a painless process, and it actually works out really well for those that may have a food allergy or has a specific request regarding dietary needs. Other questions? If you guys just want to type them in the chat, that's cool too. Okay. Go again. Go ahead.
okay, I was wondering, so, Kate's, 11 turning 12. Is there someone that, like one of the adult chaperones that will help with like sunscreens and reminders and that kind
And
of
that
thing?
Yeah, so right now the four chaperones are all mothers, and last year they were unbelievable. Like, they helped with exactly what you're talking about, sunscreen. They help um female campers with issues if anything happens to be needed. They're there for the younger goalkeeper boys and girls, but they're awesome. They're all teachers. I shouldn't say that. Yeah, I think all of them were teachers last year. But they all have, everyone's going to have their background checks complete, coaches as well as chaperones. But yeah, the chaperones are fantastic. And if anyone wants to chaperone, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to need all of your background checks before we can get you involved there.
So a follow-up question to that. So are phones allowed in that, or how does that work? Is there?
Yep. Yep. So phones are 100% allowed. Like, we actually encourage people to video recordings, and we do that too. So, and we'll post stuff on social media. Last year, we actually had a WhatsApp chat with all parents, and it was so well received. And what we did was we put tons of pictures on there from the chaperones, from coaches, so parents can see, download, put stuff on social media. But regarding the kids and their phones, obviously during sessions, all phones are away in their bag. Once literally they're done with training and they're going to and from to the classroom, or if they're going to their the social, they can have their phones on them. We're totally comfortable with that, except for obviously in the training sessions and in the classroom sessions.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Yep. Other questions? These are great, by the way. These are the exact reasons. These questions are exactly what I'm looking for. So anyone who has ideas, questions, thoughts, concerns, please throw them my way now. Or if you want to reach out individually, you're more than welcome to.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
How many are in each dorm room?
Great question. So last year we had, it depends on the dorm. So I believe the girls' dorm last year, all of them were pairs up. So everyone just had a roommate and that was it. The dorm that the boys were in, they had the opportunity to go from 2 up to a quad. And every year we switch. So I believe the boys this year will be in the pairs, the double, the bunks, and then the girls will be in the dorms that have 2, 3, or 4 people in those rooms.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi. So like with water and things like that, is there going to be like a place for them to like fill up their like coolers with like ice and things like that? Okay.
Yep. Both fields have water stations. Both fields will have a trainer present. Your kids' safety and your hydration and the sunscreen, we absolutely go out of our way to make sure kids are doing the right thing in that capacity. Yes. I'm looking at the notes here. Oh, Andrew Frenska. If anyone's coming in on Saturday, there's a Pirates game at PNC Park versus the Phillies. Interesting. Okay, just a little FYI there if you're coming in from a long weekend.
Okay, I'm out of state. I'm gonna be one of the chaperones.
Yes, Rita, hi, how are you?
Good. In regards to all those questions like food, drink, is something close by that we can go like a supermarket or something that we can buy and put on the dorms for the week?
Yes, great, Rita. I love that. We last year our chaperones, right? There's probably like a couple miles away. They are exactly what you just stated, Rita. We have the opportunity to load up on food, on water, on all that stuff, and that's exactly what we did last year. Chaperones loaded up and just put them in the common room for kids. So yeah, and you also are welcome to bring all your food and water. However, obviously coming from out of state, you're not going to travel with all that fun stuff on your plane or have the time the
Yes.
day before to go get it. So the other thing we've done in the past, and once we get the WhatsApp chat going, it'll be much easier for the parents to start talking about this stuff. Because what we did last year is we had some of our local parents, we just took an order and it was like X amount of water, X amount of Gatorades, bunch of snacks. And we literally just put it right into the common room. And parents, excuse me, that came from out of state were ecstatic because they like, thank you for thinking of us. So we do look out for kids who out of state who cannot bring their own food, water, drinks, etc. Good
Thank
question.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, I'm seeing that hand in the air again.
Yeah, Kate's working that for me.
Keep going.
I have so with the dorms, do the chaperones stay in the dorms? Do the coaches stay in the dorms, or is it just the kids in the dorms, or how's that go down?
Everyone's in the dorms. Yep. Even like from a chaperone perspective and from a coaching perspective, they're all rooming together as well. So we're in the dorms with you. Chaperones are in the dorms. Coaches are in the dorms. So we're there. Like we're omnipresent. And you saw the student to teacher, or actually you saw the adult to goalkeeper ratio being 3.5 to 1. We're everywhere. And from a safety standpoint, yeah, we're always there to help. And it's worked out great. And having more staff this year with the same number at this point is it's fantastic. I'm really happy with the student teacher ratio right now. And when we're going to add these, I told you at the beginning, we're going to add 20 kids potentially. So if we can get up to 87 and still keep our the number of coaches we have, and we might have to add one or two, but my goal is to keep the student teacher ratio or the adult goalkeeper ratio to below around 7 and below. Last year it was 8, so I'd like to minimize that a little bit.
Okay, and so Kate had a question. Will she know ahead of time who she's rooming with? This will be her first time going to the camp, so she doesn't have a roommate selected.
And she's not alone. Tell Kate she's not alone. There are a handful of people that they are going to be entering that, like, we are going to help with that. I personally will help with that. So I can help partner people up like aged, obviously keeping them together. And even in the dorms, we try to put the ages together. So it's not like a 13-year-old kid, then an 18-year-old kid, then a 12. We try to put the dorm so the younger kids are kind of together and the older kids are obviously kind of together as well.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. Lindsay. Lindsay, do you have a question? I see your hand in there. That's why I ask. Lindsay Hawk, question? Okay. Other questions?
Eric, can you hear me?
There you are. Yes, I can now.
Yeah, so I heard a lot of new, I guess, families that were asking questions. And I guess I wanted to maybe ease some of the fears that some people have if they have younger campers that are coming. So my daughter was, I think, probably one of the youngest.
Oh, she
Eric
was the
left.
youngest.
So
Yeah.
she was 10. She was 10, yeah, last year. She's a 2013 birthday. And I will tell you that the chaperones, the coaches, I mean, she's a pretty independent kid, but at the same time, they were amazing. To the point where, funny story, she woke up in the middle of the night, totally panicking because there were spiders, and she was freaking out. And it was like midnight, and the chaperones were amazing. Like, they calmed her down. They were great. So if anybody has concerns about younger campers, especially, I will tell you that I have zero concerns sending a younger camper to the camp, just because everybody is, again, so helpful, so cautious, and watches out for the safety of the kids. So if anybody does have younger kids, like, feel free to message me one-off or whatever it might be, and happy to answer like any additional questions that you may have.
Lindsay, I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Are the rooms air conditioned? Yes. Yes, they are. And the kids love it. And I'm sharing my contact information per Brian's request in the chat. So you guys don't think twice about reaching out to me. And I mean this. This is, if there's anything I can do, any questions I can answer, any concerns I can calm you with, please reach out.
Eric, I'm going to add to what you all been saying. And I think the great part, our son Andrew has been the last 2 years. This will be his 3rd year at the camp. And I think the experience during the week is obviously the most amazing part, but I think we've been impressed with is the continuing friendship, the other 51 weeks in between. And I know a lot of these boys keep up with each other on their teams and what they're doing and just in life. And I think that is a pretty awesome thing, the camaraderie that you build during the week and watching them foster those friendships year after year. So I would say, on top of all the goalkeeping that, and lessons they learn, it's friendships and life that I think has been impressive to see what has grown out of this camp.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Guys, here's my contact information. If again, don't think twice about it. I am really excited, as I mentioned already, probably a few times in this conversation. It's literally my favorite time of the year. And if I can help any of you share that feeling that I have for this week, I'll do my best to do so. But otherwise, if we don't have any other questions, This recording will be sent out tomorrow for anyone who may not have had the opportunity to be here tonight, or if you wanted to forward this on to someone who is potentially interested in this camp, please do that. Take that recording and put it out there to anybody. And again, thank you for everything, parents. If it's not for you, this doesn't happen. And I can't stress that enough. So thank you for your continued support of this program and of this development camp. And if there are no more questions, thank you for tonight. Have an awesome spring. And I'll be in touch before Memorial Day regarding our next steps, as we're about 2 months away from camp around Memorial Day. Something in the chat. Just want to make sure it's not a question. Perfect. All right, Brian. Cool. Guys, thank you so much. Have an awesome night. Y'all have my contact information if you need anything. Thank you again.